When Mitzie and the boys went to Oregon, we told them if they ever decided to come back, we would go out and bring them home. And that time arrived
Around 1980.
around 1980 something, and Pat got a tap for the truck, and out we went and got those boys, and Mitzi drove her Volkswagen.
How long did it take you to get out there?
I don't remember.
About 4 days.
How long, do you remember how long it took you to come back?
About 4 or 5 days.
And every other day, the boys would switch vehicles. They'd ride with us one day, the next day they'd ride with their mother. But when we got there, they had a big police dog, and nobody was home. Mitzi was to work, and the boys were in school, and that dog welcomed us like he thought we were coming, you know. I thought it would be tricky with nobody home and strangers, but he welcomed us, and those boys loved that dog.
But they were surprised that he was a good watchdog. They were surprised that that dog let us in, walked right in there.
And talk about what Mitzi drove and how it was packed up.
She had a Volkswagen, and we had our truck packed full too.
And
We would stay in motels on the way home.
and didn't one of the boys get sick? And there's something about
Chris got sick.
storytelling.
I remember how long his legs were. In the truck, he'd try to lay across my lap, and he had all these legs we didn't know what to do with.
And something about telling stories.
Oh, yes, I had to tell stories all the way across the United States. And I got so tired of it that I said to your dad, I'm going to drive and you're going to tell stories. Well, that didn't last very long.
I looked over at her. We started out the first morning, we were still out in California. And she was just sleepy already because she'd been
Oregon.
with Oregon, yeah. And so I drove,
That was his excuse.
and
Didn't you drive through some rough weather?
Oh, on the way out, I was anxious to get there. And I knew there was going to be a sandstorm. Probably I'd read it or something. Anyway, I didn't say a word. And we drove through that sandstorm. And your dad kept everything moving because we felt it was safer to have a little momentum than it was to sit still. And we got through it okay, but I saw a trailer court before the storm hit that I should have said something about, but I didn't intentionally because I wanted to get out there.
that 1950 Chevrolet pulled that 30-foot house trailer. Boy, it really worked good. Boy, that was a good vehicle.
And there was a man with a big Buick there in Colorado Springs, and he looked at us and he said, "You didn't pull that trailer with that car."
Over the Rockies. Or no, you hadn't gone over the Rockies.
Really in Colorado Springs.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the Oregon trip. That truck that you drove out and back to Oregon to get the boys, do you remember what year that was? Wasn't that a fairly old truck?
Probably.
I would say it was about 1976, about 4 years old. I'd say.
Oh, okay. And aren't I remembering that when you got home with the truck, you pulled into the driveway?
And the tree had blown down. The big willow tree had blown down
Yeah.
in front of the barn.
And didn't I also hear that when you pulled into the driveway after Oregon, the truck died?
No, no.
That would be such a good story.
When we stopped one night, and they had to do something to the carburetor because it wasn't working good. It was skipping and backfiring. And when we got to this one town there, we stopped and they had a good mechanic. We had him fix that up.
And we had a berry go out in the car too. And we stayed at,
Homes.
Frank Holmes that married us. He was a minister there. And we stopped there and they put a new bearing in the car.
That was on the
That's
north side
back
of
from
Colorado.
California. Okay.
All right, is there anything else about Oregon that you remember coming back with Chris and Jason and Mitzi?
Or is
Oh,
that
that was
the end of,
We were awful glad to get them back. I know that.
Yeah, they were a good bunch to travel with us. Those boys were.
Pat would
Mitzi-
roughhouse with them every night in the motel.
Mitzi had a good driver and she had a good vehicle.
Oh, we had walkie-talkies too.
Yes, I remember
We could
that.
talk back and forth. Because once in a while we'd get separated.
Yeah. Okay, we've only got 5 minutes left. I guess that's the end of this session for today.